It is the Scala session because it's Wednesday. So very, very honoured today. Joo Yeon Sir, who is an award-winning violinist now, has been described by Strad magazine as exuberant, seductive, with bravura and oodles of personality. I'm so grateful that you've come in to perform live for us this afternoon, Joo Yeon. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
We're honestly, I'm really excited to hear you play. And I always think that when people come into the studio and it's completely different sitting and watching. I've watched you rehearse a little bit and watched you moving around, and it's a completely different experience. So again, thank you so much. Now, you have won so many awards. Would you like to tell us a little bit about those? What about Sir Carl Jenkins? Didn't you win an award that he the Carl Jenkins Classical Music Award?
Yes, that's right. So it's because of the award that I got to meet him, and I ended up working with him on two special projects. One was the Cantata Memoria. He wrote Lament for the Valley, which was to commemorate the Avovan disaster.
Okay.
And then he wrote me an encore piece called Chatterbox with an exclamation mark.
Do you still keep in touch with him now?
Yes, I do from time to time. And we obviously say hellos over Christmas and New Year's, that sort of thing. And sometimes he comes to listen to my recitals and things. So that's a really special tour.
Because he's been in here as well. He came in right at the beginning of Scala. We were just discussing in the studio. It'd be really lovely to get him back again, actually, now, sort of as we head towards the end of the year. So how old were you when you started playing? Were you like a child prodigy? Did you start when you were sort of 2?
No, I wish. There was a thing of playing Mozart when you're in the womb, as it were. So apparently that's what I was doing. I have no recollection of listening to anything at that age. But
so your mum played Mozart to you while she was pregnant with you?
Exactly,
right?
Exactly.
Okay.
And she is a fabulous amateur pianist, and she always dreamed that one of her children might pick up an instrument and do something about it. And I was very intrigued watching her hands move across the keys, doing simple arpeggios, but for a little kid, that's like amazing. So I was started on the piano. So I was a pianist from about age of 5, 6, and then I saw the thing called the violin on TV, and I was like, Mom, I want to be playing that. And I was imitating it with chopsticks over dinner table, and many dinners later she was like, oh, okay, if you so insist, then we'll put you on the violin. And that was around the age of 7, and at that time everybody was like, whoa, what are you doing?
Really?
Yes, that's so late. You cannot start the violin at the age of 7. You're never going to make it. But I mean, everybody was like on grade 4, 5, and I'm starting on grade 0 basically. So I love
sort of that though that you've proved, because I think that's a really negative thing to say as well, and it doesn't encourage. I think it's so important to encourage children to pick up an instrument. It doesn't matter if you're good, if you're bad, if you sound like not, even if you sound awful, the fact that you're enjoying it is the most important thing, really, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. So my mum was persistent, and she was like, no, you're allowed to have violin lessons. And here I am.
Which is amazing. Now, how much do you practice? Do you practice a lot? Is it like, what's your daily routine like? What's Joo Yeon's daily routine like?
Daily routine. No, I would like to. I actually, funnily enough, enjoy practicing now.
Do you? So Did you hate it before? Were you made to do it, or were you forced?
No, I was never forced into it. My mum wasn't a tiger Asian mom, as it were. So she was like, if you want to do it, then if you want to do it properly, then you must do a thing that's called practice. So I understood the concept, but it was really in my 20s. I was like, I love practicing. Oh, I get to practice.
Oh, I get this now.
Oh my God, I can practice. I don't have to do anything else, but I just have the time to practice. So it's really nice now. So
when did you start to realise, what sort of age were you when people started to realise, actually, she's really good? So you started when you were 7. Where did you get to the point where everyone was like, she's really good?
I was invited to study at the Purcell School of Music from the age of 10, and I stayed there right until 18 when I went to the Royal College of Music. But I think it was when I met my long-time dear professor at the age of 14 that I was like, he's great, and if I follow all his advice, I think I might get somewhere. So that was the real spark for me that happened around that time. Yeah.
Is it tough now being so you've left college, and now you're a professional violin player, and it seems to be going pretty well. You've performed for Prince Prince Charles. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
So
yeah.
what have been some of the highlights of your career so
Well,
far?
I think just meeting a lot of lovely musicians, and I mean, not necessarily violinists, but just pianists, singers. I think I've been very lucky to work in a very diverse backgrounds, and I just enjoy the whole lot, working with composers, performers, just with everybody, with children even, going in to do some workshops in Norfolk.
Oh, do you do that? I think that's amazing. Okay, that's brilliant. That's
so
wonderful.
There's a different dimension to my musical life, and I've taken up some teaching now. So I'm back at the Purcell School.
Oh,
they brought me
you?
back. So
Okay.
I spent a full day yesterday, so it's nice to go back to your old school.
Yeah.
I get to go into the staff room, so that's that's the real perk, isn't it?
And
when you've never been allowed in there, and you're like able to go in.
Well, now
so.
you're like their star pupil, I should have. Do you have anyone? So if you've gone back there, was there anyone there? And
Everybody's there. I love it. It's just everybody who taught me German, French, music, you name it, they're still there.
And they were probably really pleased. But was there anybody there that you were teaching violin that you could see or think, that person is going to be really accomplished?
I'm very proud of my students. Let's just say that.
Okay, all of them. So now, I mentioned all of the awards that you've won, and you have won many. I also mentioned your performances with Carl Jenkins and in front of HRH Prince Charles. But you also compose as well, don't you? You not only perform, but you compose. So tell me a little bit. The piece you're playing today is going to be one of your own compositions called Dear Bessie. Tell me about this.
So my Dear Bessie was inspired by the book of the Second World War love letters of Chris Barker and Bessie Moore, who began their correspondence, I believe, in 1943 as friends. And through the exchange of letters, they fell in love. And I met their son, Peter Barker, who happened to be one of the audience member in King's Lynn Festival back in the days. And he came up and said, I would really love it if you would write a piece for my parents. And he sent me the book, and I'd read the book and listened to the radio play starring Benedict Cumberbatch, and I was just so amazed by the sincerity and the frankness between these two people. I've grown up in an age of mobile phones.
Yes.
So reading something like the letters was...
And it's unbelievable to think as well, was he stationed abroad? Was he abroad?
Yes.
So the fact that letters, it was the only way that people could communicate. And they managed to get backwards and forwards.
I know, and they were numbering the letters, and they were saying, this might come before the previous letter that I sent, but anyway, let's talk about this, and let's talk. I just find the whole concept so exciting.
Yeah, and so romantic.
It's very romantic, isn't it? It's like a fairy tale.
Yeah, exactly. And appropriate to play it this year as well, and at this time of year in September too, because obviously it's nearly commemorating the end of World War II. Has Peter, has he heard it? What was his reaction?
He was just very grateful, I think, and that his parents are the center of this music that I'm about to play.
And neither of them are no longer with us.
No, they're not with us anymore. Okay. But I have played it for Peter and his family many, many times, and it's just grown. It really grown on me. I don't know, and it just explores the longing that they have, and then the fear and hope. And it also quotes Violin's song, "We'll meet again."
Okay.
Don't know when. So I hope you will enjoy listening.
I'm so looking forward to hearing this. So, Joo Yeon, please play for us your composition. Oh my goodness, that was absolutely wonderful. And you could feel the sadness and the longing and of somebody being away from their partner and, you know, in the middle of a war. And I guess the positive thing is that, you know, they went on and they got married and they had a family.
Yes, exactly.
Which is, you know, so many people didn't at that time. So, that was wonderful. Thank you so much for coming in and playing that live. Now, Joo Yeon, where can anybody, if they want to come and hear you perform live, where can they? Do you know what your diary is like? Because I can tell you if I've got it in front of me. If you're like me, I write everything on the back of an envelope. I never know. I just always normally say, just tell me where I need to be and at what time.
It's this Friday, the 20th of September at 7:30. I'm at the St. Alfred's Church in Greenwich playing the Tchaikovsky Concerto with St. Paul Sinfonia, Andrew Morley. And then the following Sunday, I'm at Fairfield Hall. They've just recently reopened,
yeah,
shall I say?
Yes, because that's like one of my haunts from my youth.
Oh,
the
really?
Halls, yeah.
It's beautiful there, isn't it?
Well, I haven't been in it since they've redone it. But,
okay.
yeah.
Well, I'm excited to go back, and I'm playing the Lark Ascending with Croydon Symphony Orchestra and Daryl Davison. And that's Sunday, the 29th of September at 7:30. It's a charity concert, so that should be a really lovely. Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll try and come down and hear you play.
Oh, wonderful.
And then on the 9th of November, you're in Folkestone playing the Prokofiev Violin Concerto with the Folkestone Symphony Orchestra, Rupert Bond conducting. And then November, you're in Guildford playing the Mendelssohn Violin Concerto, which is one of my favourites. And then on the 8th of December, you're in Kendal in Cumbria, and that's the Glazunov Concerto with the Westmoreland Symphony Orchestra, Richard Howarth conducting. So do you have a website as well?
Yes, I do.
What's your website address?
So JOOYEONSIR.com.
Oh, right. Okay. So people can find out where you're performing just by looking at your website and follow you as well on social media. Thank you so much for coming in and performing live for us. Everybody, Joo Yeon Sir just played live in the Scala Radio studio for the Scala sessions. Thank you. It was absolutely wonderful.